The story starts off with two characters playing a video game. With one of the two having grinded the game to infinity, the outcome is obvious from the get-go. But when the loser goes ahead to insult Super Attack Family or Tackfam, this enrages Tomozaki. He makes the loser take back his words by winning an unfavored matchup. The next day we find out that outside of video games, Tomozaki is a mere shadow of his gamer self. I mean, being the number one ranked player comes with that curse. But fixing a meetup with the second best player, No Name, brings forth a surprise he never could have imagined. No Name is, in fact, Hinami, the girl who's perfect at almost everything. She isn't happy with what she's seeing since she imagined Nanashi to be way cooler. After a heated exchange, Hinami is determined to teach Tomozaki the rules of the game we call life, setting up goals for this Tackfam prodigy in the sewing room. The next day, Tomozaki puts his newly learned skills to the test. Since he has to talk to 3 different girls today, it's going to be rough. But somehow he manages to borrow a handkerchief while grinning, crackling up a lame joke that makes Mimi roll on the floor with laughter and Tama-san breaking the ice with him. Next up, Tomozaki has to walk home with Hinami, Mimi, and 2 boys, and being left alone with Nanami makes him nervous. But with her being the easygoing girl, she makes it super easy for the bottom tier character gaining experience. Next up, the protagonist has to work on his posture, and through some changes, things are looking better. The planning is underway, and Hinami gives Tomozaki flashcards and a pocket voice player to review the conversation they just had in the sewing room. Afterwards, Hinami comes up with something totally different, and the two agree to meet in front of the station this Saturday. It's finally that day. Tomozaki arrives late, but he is forgiven given he's improved his looks a bit, at least compared to the first time they had an offline meeting. Tomozaki and Hinami go shopping, trying to get the boy all swagged up and also hit a steak restaurant. Just when the two is about to arrive, the two are taken by surprise when they find out that Kikuchi from the class is in fact a waitress in that restaurant. Seeing the girl approach Tomozaki first, Hinami adds that he has a chance with her, but Tomozaki doesn't share the same opinion. After hitting the salon finally, Tomozaki's sister notices a change in him, and that takes care of the first goal he was given by Hinami. Out of the blue, Kikuchi finds Tomozaki and tells him about the novel she's writing, and after her asking, Tomozaki agrees to give it a read. Just when he's about to go home, the boy sees a gloomy Izumi who wants him to teach her Tackfam. Tomozaki starts teaching Izumi the game, and with him being a total master of it, it isn't strange when he starts pulling off moves that only the most skilled players would be able to come up with. He even goes ahead to give the girl a broken stopwatch that would end up making her perfect the time when it comes to that jump button. Later on, Tomozaki ends up confessing to Kikuchi that he doesn't actually like novels and he just went along with the conversation the last time. Kikuchi isn't offended at all, and the two agree to meet again for a more natural conversation. Afterwards, Tomozaki has Hinami waiting in the sewing room while he is giving Nakamura the hardest time of his life. After countless games, the girl trio finally lashes at Nakamura, calling his efforts a waste of time and energy, to which Tomozaki confronts them and gives everyone a piece of his mind. Not being able to use the tickets with Kikuchi, Tomozaki asks Hinami, and since she's busy, the two agree to go to a different movie. After watching the movie, the two are having a post-movie talk. Hinami suggests Tomozaki to add more emotion to what he's saying because it feels more natural that way. The next day at school, Tomozaki notices that Izumi is occupied with something. Since Nakamura's birthday is approaching, she wants to give her a great present, and Tomozaki makes sure he talks her into buying one ASAP. Accompanied by Misazuwa, this time the three meet at the shopping mall and get a hair wax since Shuji's hair are bland at best. But at the same time, seeing Hinami get all chummy with Mizusawa makes Tomozaki jealous bit by bit. Later on, the student council president is here and we've got 2 candidates ready, Oi and Mimi. The fight is on between the 2 girls, with Tomozaki wanting to be Mimi's campaign guy. Things don't turn out well when she goes for the junior Yumi instead. On the other hand, Mizusawa is the one by Hinami's side, so that slot's occupied as well. Tomozaki puts that critical thinking to the test and comes up with some pretty good points that earn him the position of being Mimi's brain. The two look like the perfect fit, and with the plea to install air conditioners in every classroom, the first years are going to bite without a doubt. It's about time the two break Mimi's second place curse. Afterwards, the right-hand men of both of these parties are there for the support and encouragement. Hinami and Mimi give their speech, with Hinami countering their AC idea using brute force alone. That makes the Mimi and Tomozaki duo bring out their big gun, but sadly, that doesn't turn Nanami into a victor. Soon after, Tomozaki asks Kikuchi out on a date, and with Mimi being even more competitive than usual, the tables are about to be turned. As we look at Mimi now, she's just a shell of her former self. She started to skip practice, and whenever she's confronted by Tomozaki, she just wants to break away from the conversation. Tomozaki starts to add 2 and 2 together when he comes to know about her past and the whole basketball match between the two. Tomozaki knows something has to be done when Mimi quits the track club, and with the help of Tama, the two are able to bring the old Nanami back, and Tomozaki brings shame to his name once again while talking to Nakamura. Soon after that, Tomozaki's new goal is here. He has to take Fuka Kikuchi out on a date. I mean, it's not hard, but Tomozaki we're talking about here. Coming up with a plan and also setting up a rehearsal, Hinami sure is a blessing for any guy out there, but before that, all the beloved characters gather and have all sorts of fun. And if that isn't enough, the date finally ends up happening. The bottom tier character has his first date, and it goes very well, even landing to a second date soon. But just before that, we have a barbecue trip with the boys and girls. And the lot's commuting via a train, taking it all in while Hinami constantly gives Tomozaki an ear how he is hard to talk to. They soon arrive at the place, and all sorts of girls and guys fun start to happen right away. Gossiping, cards, food, you name it. At the very end of it all, everyone's trying to hook up with Nakamura with Yuzu, and in doing so, Hinami and Tomozaki end up coming a little too close. Even after coming so close, Hinami is just playing games with the bottom tier character. They make it to their rooms, but later that night, Hinami and Tomozaki can't sleep. Mizusawa joins the fray, and just when Tomozaki is away, more like hiding, he ends up pouring his heart out, letting it all out in front of Hinami. Hinami's answer to his confession isn't a yes, and that just makes Tomozaki come out from the hiding. Afterwards, a fireworks date, and the first on the menu, and despite having planned to confess his feelings for Fuka, he ends up saying nothing. He meets Hinami afterwards, and the two end up having a conflict all of a sudden. Tomozaki has been away from everything. Having not replied to Fuka's text for 2 days now, he gets a hold of himself and goes to have some more of that author. After this new date with Fuka, he comes to realize that he needs to meet with Hinami yet again. At first, she's reluctant to meet him, but afterwards agrees to his proposition. It's a heated exchange between the two, but with Tomozaki coming up with the new ideology of skills plus true desires, it looks like his life will change soon. Later on, everyone is choosing an outfit for Yuzu, and the anime comes to an end with Nanami and Tomozaki putting their skills to the test. If you enjoyed this anime recap, don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as to turn on the notifications so you can be notified for future anime recaps. See you next time.